the science stream. So it is not that because you are studying BA, you don't have to go anywhere near science. You have to, all your 6 semesters, you have to learn physics and maths and chemistry also. And then so many other subjects which is coming. Now your engineering, drawing, your foundry, your carpentry, everything has to be done. How to operate a lathe, how to produce a, to engineer a machine, everything you have to learn. So it is an all-encompassing degree, and you end up learning about 64 subjects in your graduation while you are in, besides the military training that you are doing, including one foreign language. You can go on to, if you are keen enough, you can learn on to go on to become a learn and become an advanced diploma, which is equivalent to a graduation degree for that particular language while you are attending, but requires little hard work. I learned Chinese. So that is one. Whereas in the graduate level, the CDS exams are there for 2 types of entries for all 3 services. Army, Navy, and the Air Force. CDS is for, one is for permanent commission. The top of the lot goes for permanent commission. Those who choose for the short service commission, they go for the short service. Only difference in the exam is that one paper is less for the short service commission exam. That's the sole difference. It is not that because the charge is not as good. No. Those who are seeking a permanent career in the defense forces, opt for the permanent commission. Those who, then there are people who feel that they are not very good at science and maths, but still want to join the army. So for them, the route is the short service commission. So these 2 types of entries. For all this, there are exams twice a year. The schedules you can look up the net, you will find it. Both the exams are conducted twice a year, and all this, or intakes taken and put to the process. Any doubts here? The short service commission is only for, the commission is only for 5 to 6 years initially, and it can be extended up to 14 years. At the end of 6th year, there is some kind of a screening which is done based on your option to stay or otherwise. There is a screening done at the service headquarters level, and you are able to retain or otherwise. Those who are not retained, they are got the choice of taking an extension for another 8 years and serve till 14 years. In the case of women, when permanent commission was not being granted, they have gone up to the age of 20 years of service without granting permanent commission. But that has changed now. They have come to the same level, and the 20 years provision will, it has not gone yet, but it will slowly fade away, and it will be this 6 and 14 years. Okay. Now it is open to men and women. Only thing is the women vacancies are still less. But over time, now, like few days back, I read in the newspaper, now the women commission is open to the artillery also. So therefore, the vacancies are only bound to increase, but the combat arms will take time. Combat arms are very, very difficult. We still don't know how to manage women in there. Women might say, no, sir, we can manage. No, it is not that. There are so many other, it is not like American army or something. They are never in war. We are permanently in conflict. In conflict zone, how do I manage a man of a lady? Is an issue that is there. You have to live in the open. You have to do everything in the open. How do we manage a lady is still a question mark. So it will take some more time before the others are all, once they deploy, they are static. In the case of combat arms, once they deploy, they are mobile. They are always all the time on the move. There are times I have been into wilderness for 45, 50 days. Nothing around. You and your 20 people are there and nothing. You go to the do there, make your food there, you drink and take bath in a rivulet or a stream and live your life there. You still have to reach that stage where women can be managed. I'm sure over the next 15, 20 years, maybe we'll come out with some novel idea, or the conflicts will reduce and we'll be able to manage women. But at the moment, combat arms is a strict. No. If I am asked today also, I'd say no. We still have to go along. And then women have to be there in the rank and file also. Okay. The women rank and file is started in core of military police. Maybe over time they will start accepting women elsewhere. It is a trial and error. We have to learn on the job and take it on. Okay. Now, all of them have to be unmarried. There are some technical entries, TGC, etc., where married signature, but we prefer unmarried people because the risk of training is very high. Only qualification that till that time we don't want him to be now become a liability on the family. That is the only reason. There is no other reason. The women, it is still unmarried. Maybe over time, maybe the unmarried clause will go for everyone, or will be applicable to everyone. It's a question of time. Now the other one, the top of the list is trained graduate course for technical graduate course. This is for permanent commission in the armed forces. It's for the Army especially. Navy doesn't have it. The Air Force doesn't have it. It's only in the Army. If you are an engineering graduate, you can start appearing for this from the time you are in your final, in your second last semester. It is candidature is there are no exams. Candidature is decided stream wise based on the percentage of marks you scored each year. Maybe in electronics and electrical, the percentage may be 80. For a civil engineer, it may be just 70. So that disparity will be there for each stream, and the vacancies are also fixed stream wise. There are some postgraduate entries also which are taken in under same clause. For education core and few others, your IT, MTech, MSc IT or MSc computer science, there are people taken up from those streams also. Then comes the SSC Tech Army. The qualifications conditions are same. You're only being taken in for a short service commission. Thereafter, at the 5th, 6th year, you have to opt and make your choice. If some people are feeling sleepy, they may just get up and go and stand behind rather than sleeping right in front and distracting. I feel some people falling asleep. Okay. So SSC Tech Army and SSC Tech Navy is on the similar lines. Only thing is, the Navy picks up people in a certain specializations which are specific to them, but the Army picks up specifications which are required by the Army. The JAG branch, this is for law graduates. The qualification is up to, I think the age limit is up to 28, 27 or 27 or 28 years. Maybe it is 28, I may be wrong. It is for strictly for law graduate. Vacancies are too few. Just about 8-10 vacancies. Some courses there are no vacancies. But over the years, these vacancies are also going up because our involvement with legal matters is going up. Then there's for veterinarians who have graduates in veterinary science, they got few vacancies. Again, 2, 1, some courses there are no vacancies. This is for, and over time it may just become almost nil. It is on the process. We are now doing away with our mounted regiment. There's only 161 cavalry that has become a ceremonial regiment. The actual regiment has become a fully tanked regiment and all that. So this camel regiments are gone. Now there are only mule battalions here and there with increased road traffic and robotics coming in. This is likely to go. But RVC at the moment is a commission that you can opt for. Then there is NCC special entries open for both women and men. Again, vacancies are limited. The only clause here is the vacancies are limited. So that is another entry that is available to join the Army, Navy or Air. One thing to pay attention here is the NCC entry. The NCC Army entry is open for NCC C certificate holders, both Army, Air Force and Navy. Whereas the Navy one is available only to NCC C certificate holders from the naval branch of NCC. Similarly, Air Force is only available for those from the Air Force NCC C certificate holders. Okay, and in this also, vacancies again are limited. Okay, so now again, if this is for short service commission, you have to continue doing well and then get trained in or out based on your option at the time of the 5th and 6th year. Okay, now there is Air Force has not become part of this short service commission in the way the Army and the Navy is doing. Maybe one of the reasons perhaps is that the number of people who are opting for Air Force jobs are very high. For two reasons. One is, unlike the Navy and the Army, which operates away from their bases, the Navy operates in their platform deep into the sea. Life is tough there. Army, you move out of your base and operate. You are always in the wilderness, where nothing is available. You have to have you all heard jungle mein mangal? No, you go into the jungle, then you make a city there. That is what the army do. You go and start living. Means one must, when the army is on exercise, one must go and see them when they are camped. Every facility comes up there. But the point is, you have to go out and do it. Whereas in the Air Force, they always are operating from their base, except for a minuscule of pilots who move out of their bases. Rest, everybody is well tucked in the bases. So, compared to Navy and the Army, the life is little more easier. So, therefore, the number of optees were higher because many thought that they can have a comfortable life if they take up a. So, they had to include an exam, a hurdle in between of appearing before an exam for short service commission, in addition to whatever the Army and Navy do. Rest of the process remains the same. They have to, and it is open for all the branches of the Air Force, both for women and men. In the Navy and the Air Force, the number of vacancies for the for the men, but like I said, Army it is not possible. Still a far cry to be having it. I will cite an example in my own life. There are times when one side of we are camped on one side of the stream. Upstream, we use for cooking and washing. Downstream, we use for our toilet purpose. It's the same stream. Same water stream, we are camped on the side. We are catching fish from the same stream. We are using all our toilet requirements downstream, and upstream we are using for water. And there is nothing around deep jungle. That's all. So that is how it is. That is where it lies. Now, in addition to this, those who already don the uniform for their service progression, there is a facility to obtain commission from the third year on. Third year, you got ACC commission, where there are some exams that you have to appear, and then go on to become officers through the same process. Where they will be considered at par with people who have joined from NDA. The ACC entry at the time of joining is considered at par with those who are joining from the NDA, because they will do, and their basic qualification is 10+2, which they join as 10 standard students and they write the exam internally, or they can acquire the qualification from outside for becoming +2, and then appear for an entrance exam, and then go on to become then go on for the SSB and become officer. Those such like officers have the right time, you can raise to it, you can even become the chief of army by the ACC track also. So that is another thing. There are many people who do that, who miss the boat to NDA, they straight away go and join the armed forces, then write the ACC exam and given, because the competition there is slightly lesser. Slightly lesser. I'm not saying that it is anyway lesser commission, slightly lesser, because your competition among equals. So there, the category that you are competing is a very small compact people, and there are almost about 60-70 vacancies every year. Not every year, every half year for ACC commission officers. That is one. Then there is the special list commission. These are for specific categories, for clerks, basically storekeepers and such like things, to handle responsibilities of that nature, which is less combat oriented. More administrative oriented is the special list commission, where they take up office bearing job, record keeping, store managing, huge dumps and stores and such like things. We require a separate kind of. Like I said, they are not seriously very combat oriented, but basic skills of a soldiering has to be there, but they are not heavily combat oriented. Then there is this special commission officer. During the course of your visit, you identify certain people in your own world. Yes, this person has got those qualities that can make him an officer. Then he is put through the SSB and he is given a commission. Those people can rise till now, they can rise up to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. They also retire at 56. Okay. So all the promotions in the army, your retirement age is based on your rank. A Lieutenant Colonel retires at 54, which is the minimum rank that we expect a person to reach while in service. Lieutenant Colonel retires at 54, a Colonel retires at 56, a Brigadier retires at Lieutenant Colonel retires at 52, a Colonel retires at 54, a Brigadier retires at 56, a Major retires at 58, and Lieutenant Colonel 60, and the Chief of Army Staff at 62. Okay. Then the Chief of Defence Staff, you get, which is actually a 3 years contract based on where you are picked up. Like the present CDS, he has been picked up to hold that appointment after retirement, but he has to retire at 65. Okay, so that is how the rank chart and this is on. So now we come to the next of the thing, which is the process of assessment, which is the hurdle for many. The only 2% of those who qualify for the written exam or those who apply and get to join the armed forces as officers. Only 2%. The percentage Army to Navy to Air Force may be slightly variant, but overall it works about 2%. Therefore, you have to have some special metal within you to become part of that 2%. Okay. Now, many people say, sir, he's good at academics. That is not possible. I say a very bold statement that whatever you learn in your classrooms is only 5% of what is required of you as an individual. Rest of the 95% has to be experiential learning. From your experience, from your observation, and from various other things that you come across. Your life lessons, all that is what is important than what you learn in your classroom. So I repeat, only 5% of your education actually happens in the classroom. So for that 5%, you spend so much of time. Whereas for the 95%, you don't spend enough time. That is where the folly lies. Okay. It's a 5-day process. It is to evaluate, it is not an examination of like traditionally like a written exam. Many people say, if I am asked this question, what is the answer to that? I don't have the answer. It is you as a person. What would you do? I cannot tell you X will do like X. If you change anything, you will pass. No, I don't have it. I don't have the answer. You have to react to that situation. That's why we say, when everybody is falling, somebody has to get up and walk. We are looking for that one chance. So therefore, it is your personality that is being evaluated and not your academic excellence. Academic excellence ought to be there, but that is not the only thing. It combined with the rest of your faculties, if they're good, we are ready to take it. So we go into your past, present, and future. What is the scope of your growth? If you have done all this, how much can you? We predict that based on what you speak, what you write, what you do. So that is the process. So what is it? What is the theory behind it? The good old Sanskrit saying, Manasa, Vacha, Karma. That is what we put you through. What is going on in your mind, what you speak, and what you do is what these three words mean. So in the psychology, we try and find out what is going on in your mind. In the GTO, we try and find out how do you work in a group. Are you able to work, understand the sentiments of the group, gain acceptance, and come out with working solution for all that you do. Thereafter, in the Vaja part, that you come across your interview, where you get to talk one-on-one, and we try to explore you to find out what has been your life opportunity, how have you utilized it, and what could be the future if you carry on like this. Having said that, Personality is a very dynamic thing. It is constantly changing based on the exposure and the life lesson that you ingest and make yours. It is not necessary that a person who is essentially at this stage will grow up to be like this or no. But reasonable prediction can be done based on the way you behave and the way you conduct and you make use of the opportunity that this person, given the right platform, will grow up to be like this. Because once we take you in, we are giving you a conditioned uh, situation where challenges, everything is predictable. You can predict and then come out with your reaction. And as you grow, the degree of uncertainty based on which you have to take a decision, it will keep increasing. When you are dealing with a section, you got only 10 men and there are perhaps 20 people in front of you. You have to deal with only that. The moment you become a platoon commander, you got 60 people and you got 50, 60 people, and then you have got to deal with another 60, which is 60 or 100, which is opposite. So this degree of difficulty keeps going up in geometric progression as you grow up. So in absolute uncertainty that you take decision, if I take this decision, the outcome will be like this. What is going to be the end state that you are deciding? And if that end state is what is you are looking at, how am I to utilize what is available to me of all the resources that are lying around me and the mental batteries, everything to do that. In doing so, you have to be, your lives are involved. If you do something foolish, you're going to lose lives. You are responsible. You are answerable. You are not just answerable. No, you may think that you are only answerable for life. Even a small nut will become real. You are answerable for that also. People will ask you, why didn't you carry it? Hey, I told you, friend, you are sleeping. You are sleeping. Yeah. My eyes are very good. Yeah, please sit, or you can go and stand here. Don't sleep. Okay, now, like I said, see, these things distract me. Okay, you are responsible for even the smallest nut, they become critical. People ask you, why did you carry it? If you carry it, where is it? How are you going to find it? All these are important. Like, some of you may, in Chennai, it is a very rare happening. Only once in 3 years or something it happens, and people may not come to know, of Avadi, there is a military siding. There is a railway station from which the army units load and go to other places. That happens only once in a while. Very rare. When that moves, when that body of 1,000 people move, we exactly know this. When you open this boggy or this wagon, open this box, and in this dabba, there is one small pit, and he should be able to take it out in less than a minute. Time is critical. So you have to do things to that perfection. That is why I said your degree of difficulty keeps going up as you go up the ladder. Therefore, we want people to grow like that. It is not necessary that if you pick up a lieutenant, you will all become a general. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's tough. The competition is tough, but it's challenging. It is as much interesting. There is nothing. There are no reservations, no linguistic barrier. Your efficiency alone counts. Nothing else. Your efficiency is most important to prove your professionalism. There is no north, no south, no east, no west. If you're good, people will get up and respect you. And you have to earn that respect by your professionalism. That is what it is all about. So now the selection process. Yeah, many of you would be aware, those who are aspiring for it, that it's a 5-day process. Starting from day one is, the day one varies. Some places you report early in the morning and the day one starts straight away. In some places you report the previous evening and the day one starts the next morning. Okay, the day one, there is a little bit of documentation and your OER test, which is an intelligence test, and then there is a picture perception and description test, which is just a picture shown to you. You have to give, based on the impulse that you have to given to you, you have to write a story, then you have to narrate your story, then after you go into discussion to arrive at a common group story. The whole thing takes about an hour. But because of our group, it takes nearly half a day to put everybody through the group. Based on your performance, you are retained for the SSB problem. White man next to you. Sleeping. Yeah. So that day you have the picture perception and description test and your screening. So those who are screened in, they have to do a detailed documentation that day and then going for the next stage test, which is the psychology, where there are a series of 3-4 tests, which I will tell you subsequently. And day 3 and day 4 is the GTOD. And day 5 is the conference and the results are announced. One would wonder when will the interview happen. The interview happens on day 2, day 3, and day 4. In some cases, if too many people are there who will retain, then in day 1, the post lunch also, the interview could start, which is not an ideal condition, but in emergency, once in a while we do. The next one. I have time till 11:30 now. Yes. Okay. Okay. In the psychology, we got 4 kinds of activities that happen. First is the thematic perception test, which is in which pictures are brought to you, something like the PPDG, in a slightly different format. And then you have to write some kind of a story in that 4 minutes that is given. Thereafter, you come to the word association test, where 60 words, one after the other, every 50 seconds, one word will come up, and you have to give your first impulse on it. Thereafter is the situation reaction test, where you are given 60 situations. You have to give reaction to each of them. Total situation 60, time given 30 minutes. So that means 30 seconds for each situation. Having done that, after thematic perception test, there is a small break. Then there is the word association test, followed by the situation reaction test in one shot. Again, there is a small break, and after that, you are given the self-description. You are made to sit for a self-description, where you will write a personal description of yours to include your opinion of your parents, your teachers, your friends, your own opinion, your strengths and weakness, and how are you trying to improve. This is the 5 things that is done. This concludes the first day of activity. Some of you, most of it depends on your chest number and which grouping you get into. You straight away after that, you will be called for your personal. In fact, about 6-7 of each, this is 6-7, about 12-15 people will have to go undergo interview that day. The next day, you start with your GTO. GTO starts around 6:45 after breakfast, where the day starts with a group discussion. After the group discussion, you got a group planning exercise where is a quasi-military situation is given to you. Okay? Something like a military situation, not exactly a military situation is given to you, and you are given a group based on which you have to find a solution. So how to solve that problem. Once you have written your answers, you are again made to sit in a group and you are given 30 minutes to discuss and arrive at a common action plan. Means you have written your own individual solution, and thereafter you are sitting in it is something like the PPDG in a larger thing. You have shown a model in which a military situation is given to you, then you give it. Once that is done, your printout situation printed is given to you. Once you read that, you give 10 minutes or so. Once that you have read it, the paper is withdrawn from you. No longer that paper is available to you to read. And then you have to write your answer, solution to them, in which you have to find what are the problems, what are the resources available, and how are you going to utilize the resources within the time frame that is available to solve that problem in the best possible way. So that is what happens in the group planning. The total exercise happens for about an hour. In the group discussion, I forgot to tell you, there are two discussions with that. The first 15 minutes, one discussion on a subject of your choice from group of 2 subjects given. In the second part, you will be given a subject of the GTO choice. How are the subjects designed? The subjects will be, one will be of a current problem. Something is bothering the country or something where the country is involved. Some problem. You have to discuss and find out what are the options available for doing. And in the second part, so one subject would be that, and another subject would be a socially relevant topic. If you select the current problem of the country, the next topic in the second discussion will be a socially relevant problem, or vice versa. It could be either, but you will get to discuss a current problem and a socially relevant problem. So it is incumbent on your part to be aware of what is happening on your country to a large extent. Okay. Then once this is done, you are taken to the progressive group. As the name suggests, it is progressive in nature. Progressive in the sense that the degree of difficulty keeps going up. As you negotiate one part of the exercise, and when you are taken to the next, which is continuous, your degree of difficulty keeps going up. But whatever methodology that you have learned during the first part has to be applied, ought to be applied in the second part with a higher degree of difficulty. When you are taken to the next, the further one, the degree of difficulty goes even further, and you have to apply it. So you are actually learning on the job and applying yours. Okay, and once that is done, task is not second. It is on the first day. Okay. After this, no, one thing that we have missed out. After progressive group task 1, that is over. The group, normally always the group is between 6 to 10 people under one GT. So on the one still the progressive group task, all 10 guys are together. 10 is the maximum number of guys which the GT can put to test at one time, and 6 is the minimum number. Less than 6, the GT cannot conduct the test. So in the 10, the test goes on, and once that test gets over, your group is divided into half. And then you are put through half group task with one task at a time. Just one task to be performed with 5 people. That means your group gets it may happen that when 10 people are around, some people are not getting adequate opportunity to exercise themselves. So now your group has been made into half to give you that opportunity. But it is again progressive in nature. From the progressive group task, whatever you have done, the degree of difficulty in the half group task will be little higher. And you are supposed to exercise your brains and your faculties to find solutions. Once that half group task, that is about 30 minutes time given. Once the half group task is over, you are put to the group obstacle. The group obstacle race is a set of obstacles which you have to negotiate as a group, not as an individual. Obstacle individually you have to negotiate, but there is a lot of group work involved in clearing those obstacles. While doing so, it is colloquially or classically called the snake race obstacle. Because there is a snake, hay packed snake kind of thing, which the group has to carry as a group effort while negotiating this obstacle, and the snake is not, at no point it can be kept on the floor or kept on the ground, but it has to be with you only. It has to be kept in your body as a group and then kept. It's quite long. It's about 20-25 feet long. One job cannot, one or two jobs cannot carry it. Everybody has to. Generally, it carries it. So you have to do that. So that is the first day's activity of group task. And then one half group, when you're all tired of a lot of physical activity, you got a little more relaxing activity where there is a lecture. In the lecture, what happens is that you are called turn by turn. Each person gets 3 minutes to prepare, and thereafter 3 minutes to give a talk. How it is done is that there are a set of cards that are kept next to the GPO. You can go and pick up any subject, any card from them. There'll be 3-4 subjects given that you can carry on with your card, go behind and sit and prepare. And after 3 minutes, as the bell goes, you come up and then you can give a talk for 3 minutes. The 3 or 4 subjects will be mentioned here. You will say he's not sleeping. My eyes are very sharp. If the lights are on, I'll catch the sharp. So, yeah, the lecture, one subject will be very, very difficult. One will be reasonably difficult. One will be just about difficult. You know something is there. And the fourth will be a very easy subject. No matter what you say, how much of sense you make in giving out what is your opinion about that topic is very important. Is very important. The easy subject you can say, but if you don't give any worthwhile suggestion on that, well, the topic is very familiar to you, but you know nothing about it, then you are doomed. You might think that you have spoken for 3 minutes full, but if you have not given any matter worth mention, then you are doomed. So it is not. Whereas if you take a very, very difficult subject, you may get away with if you speak something. But if you take a very easy subject, you have to speak solid. And how you present, are you methodical in deciding your approach to sorting out that topic is very important. Okay, so that is the first day. On the second day, we start with your individual. First thing that happens is the individual obstacle. Here you are all alone. One person, there are 10 to 12 obstacles. In the Air Force, I think there are one or two less. And the other one, it is full 12 in the Army and Navy. There are 12 set of 12 obstacles. And you have to negotiate the obstacle as per your choice. Each obstacle has got points ranging from 1 to 12. And you can score as much as you want. Time given to you is 3 minutes. You can do once, you can do twice, you can do thrice based on your physical and mental capacity. It is purely an exercise of your physical and mental endurance. In my own time, I did it twice. 2 rounds I could complete easily. But that requires, I'm not expecting every one of you to do it. Even if you do it once with grace, it is fair enough. Okay, but it requires practice. Once you have done that, there is the last part of your activity, group activity, where it is, this time you make your choice. Each individual is called separately, and the command you are made to perform your command task. Well, you are, as a commander, given a set task, and you have to find solutions to that and negotiate it. The people who have to work with you is of your choice from you. You can give the test number, and those people will be called to help you and do it. Remember, you are the person who has to negotiate. Others are only there to help you. It shouldn't be like an NCC squad commander. You blow the whistle and they will all do it. No. You have to do it, take help of others. That is what our leader leads. You do and others help. Okay. You have to set the example and then do. Having done that, you come to the last phase of it. You will do the final group task, which is similar to the lines of the progressive group task. You have to put to Practice everything that you have experienced over the last 2 days and put that to use to negotiate this subset objective. Most find it very easy because there are so many life lessons that you got over the 2 days, and you have to put that to use and negotiate that obstacle, and that will be the end of day 2. Again, day 2 will be followed by interview. Day 3 and day 4 also will be followed by interview. Okay. Now the next part, interview. It is it is not about your academic ability. It's an evaluation of your personality. There are, in all of this, there are 15 major qualities that we look forward. The 15 major qualities, when subdivided into the actual missing, the qualities come to about 124. And the original one, the original number of qualities comes to about 400 plus. Those are the qualities that you do. But major broad line, it is 15 qualities that you are looking for in your, ability to, in your problem solving ability, ability to adjust with a group, ability to, work with a group, and also your dynamic attitude within your physical stamina, mental stamina, and so on. So those are 15 qualities, all of us are looking. So the interviewing officer will try to go through your past and then come to your future and find out solution. Questions will be posed to find solution from you as to how would you explore those opportunities for finding solution. Most of it will be based on your experiential learning and analytical skills. Your awareness of situation, how situations when comes around you, how will you deal with it based on what you have observed elsewhere or what you have experienced. Then is your general awareness. General awareness, what is happening around in your surroundings, in your community, and elsewhere. All of it is important to ensure to find out how will you deal with this. Mostly, more importantly, the general awareness should be about India and India related. I'm not worried about what is happening between Ukraine and Russia, but I'm worried about what is the impact of Ukraine and Russia on India and how is it impacting India, or many other things. There are much more things that are happening within the country, which you have to be aware of. The defense sector, the space sector, industry sector, your railways. There are so many things that are happening. So you should be aware of. There are so many social development programs, social reform programs which are running in the country. How does it impact? How do you fit in doing all of this? So all that is important. And your application. Based on those things that you heard and see. And your constant effort to upgrade yourself. You should not at any stage become the pond in the well or pond, frog in the pond. You are doomed. There has to be a constant endeavor to get out of the pond and go to a bigger pond. To explore. So that endeavor has to be always be there if you have to get sent. Now 3 types of tests. We are all looking for the same quality. A series of tests has been told to you. How does it all happen? It's very important. Now we take you from very general kind of knowledge to very, very specific. Let's go back to your psychology test. First is the theme. A theme is given to you, and then you have to react. You can move in 360-degree direction. Anyway, and you can put your central point anywhere and say, this is what I use. When it comes to word association, now you are tied to that word. That your radius of action gets reduced. Okay, you come to from a broad design, you come to a narrower one. When it comes to situation react test, it is even further narrow, which is now a particular situation. You cannot interpret in other ones. And thereafter, when it comes to self-perception, it is just you and your own impression. Understood? So that is how, from a broad format, you are now being brought stage by stage to a individual level. Same happens with the GTO. First is a group study. You are just given a topic, and then you can discuss. You can 360 degrees. No questions. But when it comes to the group planning, you are now given a problem. You have to got to deal with that problem. You cannot run away from that problem. Okay. And when it comes to, these are all individual exercises. When it comes to the lecturing, now you have further brought down to a topic of your choice, and then you are making the decision what to talk. So that is one kind of activity. Second is your progressive group task, half group task, command task, and final group task. First is you are in a larger group, you are going to give number of situations you have to deal with. Thereafter, your group is divided. So your path has been narrowed down, and you got one task to perform. Thereafter, common task. You are all alone. You are the man to take all decisions. Earlier decisions were coming from, inputs were coming from everywhere. But you are all alone. You have to take the decision. Once having done all this, you are again put together. Final group task. You want to see whatever have you learned. Have you learned it, or you are just a just a wagon which was running around because the engine was running? Understood? So from progressive group task to half group task to command task to final group task. This is how it runs. Now in the obstacle race, in the group, you're all learning by hit and run, how to negotiate. And a life lesson has been given to you. In the individual obstacle race next day, we try and see, have you picked up those lessons and applied yourself in this individual obstacle race to progress? So you are being, like I said, from a broad framework at each phase, you are being brought to the narrowest one where you are put to excel. Okay. In the interview too, the same thing happens. Initially, it is a broad brush. We talk about education. We talk about, we deal with one by one. Education, family, hobbies, interests, other activities, your interest, etc. Each one is taken and dealt in a larger canvas. From that larger canvas, whatever you state is picked up and then further explored. Explored to bring to very narrow situations where we take your inputs to decide how are you, conducting yourself, and how would you conduct in a synthetic kind of situation. Everything is about. So everything that you write down in your document, there is a document which is given to you called the personal information questionnaire, which draws in all your personal data, and based on that the interview. So whatever you mentioned there and whatever you said in the interview, they are brought together to find out solutions. And in that, then we draw a personality. Let me now make a mention that whatever, after all this, all three, the psychologist, the GTO, and the interviewing officer write a one-page report, which is about 12 odd sentences. 12, 15 sentences is what he writes about your personality, to award you the mark. That is more accurate than what the astrologer writes after in your Janapatri or in your Kundi or whatever you call it, in your Jatagam or whatever. It is more accurate. And it is valid. It is valid, and it is at many stages that document is drawn out to decide which is the man best suitable for the job. And that document is preserved 50 years post your death. Okay, 50 years post your death, that document is available. It is only 50th anniversary, on your 50th death anniversary, that document is written. Therefore, Field Marshal Manekshaw and everybody else is still available. Okay, that document is no joke. It is with serious observation that the IO psychologists and the GTO, they undergo very rigorous training for about 6 to 9 months before they sit and draw this. After all the experience that they have had in training people and observing people and all that, they are trained specifically on this job for about 6 to 9 months before they get that qualification issued. Okay. So are you all clear? Now come to the conference. in the conference day is a time where all the three assessors, as a victim or as a rule and as a constitutional obligation, we don't discuss the candidate till the time we come to the conference. GTO, the psychologist, and the interviewing officer never discuss the candidate before the conference. It is at the conference that all three come together, they compare notes and find out what is good, what has been observed about the candidate, what is good about the candidate, and what is not good about it. And if there are some serious doubts, it is further examined during the conference after calling in the candidate. Sometimes routinely the interview, the conference, when I indicate candidate is called, some routine questions, and the candidate moves out after 3 more minutes. Whereas in the case of candidate where we have some query, the conference that time spent with the candidate varies from 10 to 15 to 20 minutes to establish whether we are wrong or where we right or not, before we take the decision. It's a career of a person. We wouldn't like to do a wishy-washy job. We would like to be sure for 2 reasons. One, a good candidate should not be lost. Second, we should not make a mistake. Once we make a mistake, we may have to suffer for 40 years. So we wouldn't like to do either of them. And unfortunately, short of officers, we would like to keep a good person. It is actually good. And if there has been an error in our judgment, we would like to correct ourselves. That is where this issue comes in. Okay? Get it out so far. Go back. Yeah. After that, after a little while, once this thing is done, results. Now, many people say it's a manipulation. No manipulation can be done. For one, the first time the marks or a candidate is discussed as a gospel at the conference only. And the first thing that they